we're going to have the election of the next mayor of Waterford and all the hassle about the plebiscite and everything like that. What's going to happen is the councillors basically are going to sort out who the next mayor is going to be. Now, there has been a lot of talk this week about what's called the DeHunt system. So for people that don't know, very simply, the DeHunt system, it's a system that was put in place. It was, I suppose, invented by this Belgian mathematician. He described a methodology in 1878, nearly 150 years ago now really, of electing people and basically having councils or governments run in a certain way. And what it does, it's supposed to get rid of what's called the pact system. And the pact system is where you have one party or two parties dominating the council or the government, whatever the case may be, and the others are effectively excluded. So the dominant party parties would basically select who's going to be in the head of the different committees and stuff like that. And you effectively run the government and set the budget and all that sort of stuff. So the DeHunt system is trying to get away from that. It's a methodology where different parties would work together and everybody would get a slice of the cake. So it looks like the negotiations for this DeHunt system have broken down. So joining me on the line now is Labour Party councillor from Lismore, John Pratt. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Damien.
How are you this morning, John?
I'm good this morning.
John, are you going to be the next mayor of Waterford?
Well, look, Damien, I suppose the decision hasn't fully been made at this stage. We are still in negotiations between ourselves, but the decision of who will be mayor is still ongoing and will be decided, and won't be decided today until during the meeting at 3 o'clock. That's where we're at the moment.
How has the negotiations been with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael? What did you offer them this week?
Well, look, to be honest with you, we have done everything in our power from the very start of this process to try and make this an all-inclusive DeHunt process. We, from the very outset, tried to bring them along with us and hope that they would join into the process. The numbers this time round were very different. They were very evenly balanced. Organised yourself, you had 17 Gael, 7 Fianna Fáil, you had 6 independent, 6 Sinn Féin, and ourselves and the Greens decided we would work together as a group. We'd have our differences within that group, but we felt if we came together as a 6 to work together, and we tried everything in our power to ensure that we would have a DeHunt style, a new approach, and that everyone would work together, but they unfortunately haven't agreed today to that process. And
the DeHunt system, just to remind people, is one that would allow everybody a certain slice of the cake.
Yeah, very much so. And it also allows everyone, to work together, which is important. Nobody is ruling the roast, and getting away from the pact system is what we've been trying to do. Getting away from the pact system, we felt that this time round the voters voted very differently here in Waterford, and it gave an opportunity, a real opportunity for that to happen. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be. And we're still, it's open from the fact that we still would want to work together and try and ensure that we have a different council this time round.
How does it make you feel personally that it hasn't happened?
It's very disappointed, actually, And I mean, to be fair, we as the Labour Party from the very outset, and we had our first meeting. I can't even picture the few days. There's been a lot of talking done, I can tell you, but we've had our first meeting, and it was even obvious to us. It was our first kind of line of thought. It wasn't thought on us by anybody else. I suppose everybody felt it was going to be the same old, because the numbers would have suggested that Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and Labour could come together and, I suppose, whatever they want to call it, your pact for voting and that. But we knew from the outset that there was a possibility of doing something different here. So we met as our own group. We came along after that and we just asked the Greens to meet, to talk, I suppose, really. We teased out a few differences and they were, more than open to what we were suggesting. And I know that the other groups then, obviously, as well, had the same, I'm talking about independents and Sinn Féin, had the same feelings. And genuinely, we really thought this was a possibility. But, I mean, I know I've been talking personally to many people over the past week or more, from both Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. There have been emails sent. There have been, we put our hand out and we really done what we could, I feel, to invite them in and say, look, please, let's do this together. And it's disappointing.
And was it because of old style politics or personalities, or like we're going to be talking to different people now about this. Damien Gagan has been quite critical of the way this has been handled. Where does this come from? Why weren't you able to make it happen?
Look, you can call it probably is old style politics, let's be fair about it. And I mean, let's be honest as well, I worked very well. I was part of the Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil Labour the last time, and we did work very well together. And even though I was on my own, we had numerous arguments behind doors as well on issues that were close to my heart. You know, I never felt that I couldn't say what I had to say. But like, I just don't understand why any party should have the God-given right to think that they have to be or should be the ones leading, you know, and that's what we were trying to do. Why should any one party have that right, especially when the numbers came as they came this particular time round? You know, it was just a goal, and not just an opportunity for Waterford, but I think it was an opportunity to send out a message throughout the country that, you know, this is possible, and there's an onus on us now to go along and make this work and ensure that, you know, that we have a very good working council. And
will you be able to keep all the independents on side and all the Greens and all the Sinn Féin lads?
Look, I don't know if the word on side the right way to go about it. We've had great conversations, and I tell you, we've had tough conversations over the last few nights, especially. Even up to that last night, you know, there's been conversations in relation to relationship and that. And all we can say is that it's gone very well for us. Yes, it's been tough, you know what I mean? And we just believe that we can make this work. And you know, we're gonna. It's different. It's different. It's something that even when the process started, it was something that we really were kind of trying to tread along lightly as we went along to know how we can get this to work. And I believed, you know, that we will make it work as a unit.
And if you are elected mayor later on today, congratulations.
If I am, we'll see what happens.
James Tobin, good morning.
Good morning, David.
James Tobin, Fianna Fáil councillor, Lismore electoral area. James, is John Pratt going to be the next mayor of Waterford?
At this point, I haven't a notion of who's going to be the next mayor of Waterford. The meeting is today at 3 o'clock. And all I know is my grouping of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael will be putting forward a candidate. And it's up to the people, the 30 stage, to put for whoever they see.
The signal is quite bad there at the minute, James. You might be able just to move to an area where it might be a little bit better.
I hope it will be better. Is it?
Yeah, it's a bit better. Yeah, we'll have to get your broadband down in the west over there now. I'd say it's one of the things that we could look at in the forthcoming general election, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Who are you going to put forward as your candidate for the mayor, James?
Oh, we haven't decided yet who we're putting forward. We've decided yet. We are in negotiations and we'll be for the candidate.
And
whether that candidate will have the support of the majority of the council or not, we're not sure.
Well, normally Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil would be very good at making sure you have the numbers before you go into something like this. So the indication at this stage, and we were going to have somebody from Sinn Féin on this morning, but they've declined to come on because, as far as I know, things have been sorted between them and Labour and the Independents. So if all goes well from their perspective, they're going to have the mayoralty and they're going to have control of the council for the next 5 years. How does that make you feel?
It doesn't. The fall of it, all I'm have a council that will. I believe that in an effort led by the strong Sinn Féin is the biggest party that pact.
James, I'll tell you, I'm sorry, we're going to have to leave it. I'm afraid the line is very, very bad there. We'll see if we can get back to you later, but we'll talk to you later. So what we understand is that it looks like there has been an agreement made between Sinn Féin, between Labour, the Independents and the Greens. And at the minute, it looks like they will have the majority on the council and there will be a mayor elected from within that group. My understanding is that it could well be John Pratt. And then we're obviously going to have, if that does happen, now things can change in the next few hours. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes from there. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Damien.
You're on a better line there now. James, tell us, you had some issues you wanted to take up with John Pratt there. He was talking about how Fianna Fáil have dealt with these negotiations in the last week.
Yes, Fianna Fáil haven't been in the negotiations with it all, because from the word go, Fianna Fáil made a decision. They're not interested in the Hunt system, because the Hunt system is only interested in getting positions of monetary value. Not one word about how you run a council, how you pass budgets or anything. And it's my belief now that there's a new pact formed in this council, headed by the biggest party, of course, which is Sinn Féin is the biggest party of this new pact. Sinn Féin 6, Labour 4. I don't know whether all the independents are in or not. We'll know that today. And I think there's 2 Greens someplace. So Sinn Féin are leading a new pact, and the Hunt system, as we were offered only the Hunt system, and we are not interested in just something that is only interested in positions and in power.
So are you basically, is it that you don't want to work with Sinn Féin?
We're not saying that. We're not interested in the Hunt system and a pact, this pact that has been formed. We believe now it has been formed. And of course, it will be led by Sinn Féin. And this pact, I have been in the council for 20 years. And there are people now in this pact who have never voted for a budget in Waterford. Now all of a sudden, they were interested in joining the Hunt to become, they wanted to become mayors. I have no interest in mayors. I'm interested in the financial running of this county for the betterment of the ratepayers and taxpayers. And also, I will defend the people of my parish against wind farms. Those are the things I'm interested in.
Yeah,
the Hunt system.
But you're also interested. Fianna Fáil have always been interested in being in power, and you're, I'd say, a bit annoyed now that you're not going to be in power for the next 5 years in Waterford.
I was in a council. I was in the first council in Waterford, the county council, and we weren't in power at all. But we never. I'll tell you one thing, Damien. When we were in power, we never reneged on our responsibilities, and we always voted to bring in a budget and to balance a budget in Waterford County Council. And as I say to you, some of the people in the pact, we couldn't go into a pact with them because when it came to budgetary matters, they weren't there to be seen even. And I hope for the good of this county and the county council and the people that elected us, that when the budget, if this pact succeeds, led by Sinn Féin, that when the budget comes in, I hope they'll do the right thing by the people of Waterford.
Councillor James Tobin, Fianna Fáil councillor from Lismore, thank you very much for joining us this morning.